This video is going to be a bit of a show and tell one, and it's a bunch of two-way radios. I'm not really much of a radio person, but I did work on a few back in the day in my first job, and I saw a bunch of these at the local tip shop, which I wasn't even planning to visit, but ended up having to kill a bit of time, and went over and had a quick look, and they had a whole heap of them between about $6 and $20 each. And I asked the lady to open the cabinet up so I could have a look at a couple of them, and then decided I might as well buy just about all of them. There was a couple of marine radios I left behind. Don't think they had much value for anything. And a few walkie-talkies that were a bit more modern I didn't bother getting. But it's a few interesting little ones. This is a little Uniden. I'm not sure if there's a mic for this one. I assume this is just probably a 27 megahertz. I'll have to actually look up some of these and find out what they are. It's a PC-33X, Department of Communications ID, Santronic Agencies Proprietary Limited, made in Taiwan. So a lot of them look like they're probably from the 80s, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one is. Actually has a speaker in there, 5-pin DIN connector, automatic noise limiter. Of course, these are all unknown condition, which is probably why they had some reasonable prices on these. So I might at least hook them up to the power. I don't even have a dummy load. For the RF side of things, you shouldn't hit the transmit on these with nothing attached. You either need a proper antenna or just a dummy load if you don't want to actually transmit anything and just test them. So you just put them into a 50 ohm dummy load just for test purposes, and you can hook up other test equipment along with the dummy load, but you should always have one of those in place, because you can actually blow the output transistors in these if you don't have any load. We've got a channel display. I'd assume that someone selling so many might have had a bunch of faulty ones. 40 channels. Is that normal for a... normally UHF had 40 channels. Not sure. I actually can't remember the old 27 meg CB Citizens band one. And you can check the squelch. And turning the squelch should make noise come out of it, and it's not. So that suggests that one could be faulty. But it's got the bracket with it and everything, and there are a couple of spare mics in there somewhere. I'll have to see if we have one for that. Looks like someone's bypassed the fuse, never a good idea. But as long as there's one in the car somewhere. And the second one is a realistic, so Tandy one. Definitely has an 80s look to it. Receive signal and transmit power, squelch and volume. TRC-410 is the model. Almost looks like the last one. There's quite a few of these little tiny ones. 40 channel Citizens band radio receiver. They never usually tell you what actual band they go on. 12.4 watts positive negative pos/neg ground. That doesn't make much sense. Custom manufactured in Korea for Tandy Corporations. This is a Korean made one. Department of Communications approval. I could probably find in their catalogues at least what date this would have been made. Got the RS on the microphone. Let's at least hook it up and see if it does anything interesting. They usually at least come up with a display if they haven't been reverse polarity or something and blown up. This one's got sound. Not very loud, but I'd say that's probably not as loud as it should be. Often you find dodgy segments on the displays, things like that. Guess we could hook it to an antenna to see if we get anything. Don't think the CB band has much on it these days, other than if you've got walkie-talkies. People need to communicate with each other that are out of sight of each other or whatever on a building site or operating a crane or something like that. Well, that made it a lot louder. Yeah, nothing to be heard there. Maybe I'll try that other one and see if it's louder with an antenna on it. No, it didn't have any sound. Let's just make sure it just wasn't lack of RF. Oh, I can hear something. I think the speaker's shot in this one. Speaker's vibrating a bit. Yep, squelch is working. I've actually got a signal strength meter. Making a horrible noise now. That could be an amplifier problem. I guess what, did I see an external speaker? Yes, I did. So I've got a 3.5 to RCA adapter, a very handy thing to have. Let's turn this off first, probably, just to be safe. Just as bad out of the bench speaker. I wonder if it's worth a quick look inside. It's been a long time since I've seen inside one of these things. But these little cheapo ones are pretty common. They're nice and compact to fit in your car. I don't think they're overly great, but a good little sort of city radio or suburban radio. I assume it's on the top side that we look at. Oh, why not? I wouldn't have been half surprised if it was an actual faulty speaker in this, but it doesn't look like it. Sort of sounds like a faulty speaker when they're not like jammed or something and not moving the cone. Oh no, it is one of the ones that's upside down. So we only get to the bottom of the board. I had a feeling they were like that, some of these. Probably most of them. So you've got to take the speaker side off by the look of it. Disconnect the power while I'm doing this, but nice of them to make it so that you have to work on the side that doesn't come off because the speaker's connected, but hopefully it's got to connect it, unplug it. And it doesn't, it's soldered in 16 ohms. Copyright 1986 Uniden. Oh, we've got TDA chips in here, so maybe a bit of Philips stuff. Where's our amp? Oh, probably that one with the heatsink on it. I guess a TDA 1905. Sounds more like a vertical output or something to me, but that would be our amplifier, I guess. So you can probably do some basic audio checks around. Or could it be something to do with not having a microphone plugged in? I don't think so, but that's another possibility. That's basically what's inside them. Not an awful lot of exciting stuff. But yeah, been a long time since I've had a look. Just the usual chips and ceramic filters and a few IF cans. And that's your transmitter output there, these different coils and bits and pieces. I think most of these are about 5 watt transmitter power. Oh well, interesting to have a look at, but we'll put that one back together for now, I think. Better remove power. And yeah, so long since I worked on, I can't remember if you did have to have the mic on some of these, but you've got to think about things like that, because sometimes it can be as silly as the mic not switching something through, the switch on the mic or something. Okay, what next? I think this is where the badge is missing. Is it a Pierce Simpson or something? Model GX287, I think that's the Uniden actually. Greenwich Marine Electronics. Oh, I did buy a marine radio by accident. Whoops. Made in Korea. Spare fuse attached to the back. Oh, well, I wasted $6 on a marine radio. Oh, it is too when you look at it. 27 megahertz marine transceiver. Should have noticed by the white colour though, they did make some white ones. Oh, it's an electrophone. There you go. Well, we've got a microphone with it, and which for $6, I think that's probably a good deal. I guess we can hook it up. That's got a connector on it. Can I get down on those pins? Maybe just. There we go. Squelch works. Yeah, we know that. for receive. ISC, Igel. B2, B1. Now I assume these are probably still of some value in case you're out of mobile range or something. But yeah, oh well. But like I said, I'd probably need some spare microphones, so it doesn't have to have a spare one. I won't try transmitting on that. And then we've got a couple of microphones, a tele radio and a Pierce Simpson. That actually might have been off one of those marine ones I left behind. But of course they had them separate, so they probably didn't know where it went. Dynamic microphone, Japan. So I thought for a few dollars I might as well grab a couple of spare ones. And we've got another white one here. This I bought just because it's a old AWA one. AM SSB transceiver. So whether that's a marine one or not, it's actually in mint condition. I doubt it's marine. One thing you can always tell with a marine radio is it's usually corroded. This is quite an old school one, but look at this, could even be a 70s one. What do we got on the back? It's got one of those weird power connectors. At least they're labelled, I think, the end pins. Oh yeah, the PA, external speaker, so you could put them in your car and have a PA to a horn speaker or something. Taiwan. Teleradio AC-5112S. Amalgamated Wireless Australasia Limited, made in Taiwan, it says again. It's got the side mounted microphone with a nice thing to attach it. I think most of them had that little ring to onto the threaded thing so they couldn't just be pulled out. Of course, if you're in a vehicle or something and pulling on the curly cord, there's a risk you're going to yank it out of the base unit. So they usually had a threaded piece there to screw it on. And it's got the original tele radio mic. This one actually looks like new almost, to be honest. It's obviously been used. But yeah, it's in surprisingly good condition for something of its age. Looks like we've got a dual colour LED for transmit. Receive, channel 88, AM SSB, bright or dim, got an old analog meter in it, and I assume this the standard LED display, dual digit, power on there. Well, it's doing something. Sounds quite noisy even without an antenna. Got a couple of dual pots on the front here, so that's volume and squelch. Both are turning together. There's the squelch. Bit scratchy. Oh, you got microphone gain, you got RF gain. Clarifier, I think the clarifier is used on SSB because that can come through with that weird kind of sound. Not sure what you call it really. Change it to PA. That's brighter. Channel 88, is that the emergency channel or something? Goes straight to it. Display's a bit dicky, or is it just the switch switching it? Oh, now I've lost everything. Yeah, this one's pretty dodgy. Might just need the contacts cleaning. Okay, next one is probably the oldest looking one here, and it's a Sanyo of all things. Sanyo TA2100. Don't think I've ever seen a Sanyo 2A radio before. Don't think I knew they made them at all, but often these brands did make other things like this. I mean, if you're making radio receivers and stuff, why not? We'll make one with a transmitter as well. But yeah, a bit different. Probably a 70s one, made in Japan of course. Yeah, 12 volt in, antenna, final inspection. What does it say? 18 channel CRS transceiver. 12 volt, 2 amps. Australian type approval number, Sanyo electric code Japan. So speaker inside there, got the some sort of mounting bracket. Volume squelch, nice fake wood grain finish, needs a good clean. PA mode, automatic noise limiter, Ugh, switch is a bit tight. No, that's not too bad, I don't think. They never were the greatest, those slide switches. Modulation light, receive signal and transmit power. And this is actually, for a minute I thought it was just a tiny digital display, but it's actually like a old rotary television. It's just got a little plastic dial. Even the same with green and clear numbers on it that goes in front of a light in there. Much like a Sanyo television of the 70s. And we don't have a plug for this one. Negative on that side, positive on there. Something's happening. There's a little light up dial, light up meter. No sign. Oh, there it is. Now what channels we got? I guess 1 to 18. Making a few popping noises. So not the most useful, it's only an 18 channel. Oh, power's come off. Ooh. That's weird, making a weird humming noise. Sounds like the microphone's hum or something. It's got 50 Hz hum coming out of the speaker even when it's turned off and the lights are staying on. Bit weird. Don't know if I suspect that on off switch doesn't work anymore. Yeah, so that's probably the oldest radio there, I think. Quite an early one. The early ones didn't have any sort of digital display on them normally. Just very basic unit. Probably LEDs were still new and fairly expensive back in the 70s, so it wasn't a standard thing, and you could get away with just one of these light up dials or just markings on the outside or anything of them really. People weren't too fussed in those days. But nice, it's got the bracket with it and the bits to hold the bracket, so they're probably original accessories. And we've got another little one, which is a Uniden model number Pro 510E. Santronic Agencies, proprietary limited again. So yeah, just one of these little tiny ones. Basic little radio. What's that wire? That is the negative. Oh, someone's done a dodgy. God, you never seem to get a bit of wire on these things that hasn't been messed with. But a lot of people just installed them themselves. Hey, it's got the green display. Like I said, that reminds me of there was a UHF like this, but whether this is one of them. Ooh, what happened there? Not unmuting. It's obviously got. Oh, something's coming on. Oh. We can squelch it. So it was a bit slow for the audio to come in. So that's definitely got an issue, I think. Something was slow to warm up, but it got there in the end. Here's another old one. Is this another? Oh, it's another marine transceiver. So I did buy a couple of marine ones. That's a GME Electrophone. Is that the same as the other one? I don't think it was. No. Yeah, Electrophone microphone. Let's see what model this one is. It's a GX281. Distributed in Australia by Greenwich, I guess. Greenwich Marin Elect Proprietary Limited, 6 Frank Street, Gladesville, New South Wales. Manufactured Australian approval specs. Someone's got the mic bracket mounted on the side of it, so you'd have this hanging in a boat. You might have it hanging overhead somewhere, and you just slot your mic on there. Quite a good way to do it. Or you could, these things could be mounted on the dash in a car or truck or whatever in a different position. So at least that one's got a free mic holder with it. Someone's marked the back of it. Yeah, this one doesn't even tell you which way around it goes. Let's hope they are telling us the truth. Sure they would be. any difference when I put that in. Squelch works. Yeah, a couple of these channels on them seem to go dead for some reason. Oh, A and B. Local or distant. Oh, PA again. Volume's pretty dodgy. Typical sort of condition, rather rusty. But I do quite like the look of these old ones, so these were worth grabbing just as a classic sort of CD look. And what have we got here? A little tiny one. Oh, that's right, I bought this again because it was an AWA tele radio. They used to make a lot of things called car phones. I'm not sure if that's a reference to telephone radio or something. Model AC516. Made in Japan. Can we see how to hook the power up on this thing? Oh, you've got plus on one side, minus on the other. That's one of those old, so some sort of Utilux connector. I forget what they were. They were quite common on CBs with a little pointy bit on one side to polarise it. We've only got 6 channels by the look of it. Now, pretty hopeless to connect to. This one keeps dropping out, but we've got a little light up edge meter. Yeah, number 3 is lit there, so we've got a light at the top, much like that Sanya, and there goes the power again. Oh, we've got a pull squelch or something. I'll pull PA. So an interesting little one, something a bit different. And looks like another marine one, GME Electrophone, marine transceiver GX281. I think that's the same as the other one. Looks like it probably was. Oh well, there you go, I accidentally bought 2 of the same one. Got the microphone thing on the other side this time. Different microphones, so it's a Jetronic, so this has probably been replaced by a aftermarket Dick Smith one or something. Other than that, pretty much the same. What have we got here? Tasmanian Smallcraft Marine Radio Group, 82, 83, so that's probably the year someone was a member. Denison Canal, VH7ZZ sounds like in Margate Base, VH7, WH sounds like a couple of amateur radio call signs. Well, there you go, that sticker alone is probably worth $6, so that's kind of cool. And we've got a lead on this one, so at least I've got one cable between the two with a proper plug. Nice bit of solder on those cables. I bet the volume's too high, yeah, turned right up again. Can't make a good connection to the antenna on this one. What the hell's wrong with it? Got a bad socket or something? Very weird. Varies a bit. Maybe it's the squelch control's bad or something. Yeah, I think it might be. Not surprising when it's been in a marine environment. No, it still makes a noise in this one. Oh, it did. Oh no. Someone one's marked 88 there, so that's, I think that is the emergency, which is the main reason you'd have one of these on a boat, is just for emergency purposes, in case she starts taking on water or something, or someone else is in trouble. Just found a cable for one of those ones with a big long connector, so there was a cable for one in there somewhere. Must have fallen out in the box. What have we got? An Expo. Is that an actual? Oh, it's a Bandit. I wonder if that is that Expo brand that used to put out cheap hi-fi and stuff. Expo model Bandit, yeah, 18 channel AM transceiver. So that's definitely the old Citizens band. Expo International, that's them, I think. Proprietary Limited, New South Wales, made in Japan. So it's a Japanese made one, not some cheapo you'd expect it to be Hong Kong or Taiwan if it's got the Expo brand. But I think they did kind of have some decent stuff back in the 70s. They weren't complete junk, but they were kind of seen as a low end. Another one turned up. Oh, we've got orange LED. A bit diggy. Light up meter. Is that a dual digit, I guess? We've got 18 channels. Cool, I can barely turn that. Barely turn it, it's very tight. Doesn't seem to be clicking like it should. Ah, finally worked. Bit of a farty squelch there. It's working now. RF gain's doing something. PA doesn't do much at all. Nice little multicoloured signal meter there. Some green, orange and white on it. Orange receive rather than the usual green and red. Ooh, something just happened when I bumped that. This looks like a 5-pinner. Wonder if I can plug that into that realistic one. I guess I could take a chance. Doubles as a baby rattle by the look of it. I think a lot of these were standard pin out, but don't quote me on that. But, oh god, I forgot this has got 5 meters of cable attached for some reason. Guess you could wire this one just about back to the battery. Let's plug that in and see if anything happens. Oh, there you go. Oops, I transmitted, I think. Naughty, naughty. Haven't got an antenna on it. Whoa, it's distorted there. Whoa. Certainly seems to be distorted, but at least we're getting more sound out of it, because whether that microphone's set up the right way, I don't know. That could be part of the problem. And this was another one I like the look of. This is a proper old 70s looking machine. That's another GME Electrophone. Not sure if that's the original mic, a bit different, that microphone. That's a proper one, I quite like that. Big button on it, right down the side. Yeah, it's more like some of the more professional ones. I guess that old Expo one was a bit like that too. Oh, we've got an on-the-air light. That's kind of cool. The old click around, so it's only got 9 channels. So is this a standard CB? It's an NO275A by the look of it. Manufactured by Jinsei Sangyo. Co-Limited Japan. Distributed by Greenwich Marine. So it might be another marine radio. Doesn't look like a marine radio, but noise blanker, CBPA, switch and volume, RF gain at max, squelch. Oh, what sort of connector? Another one of those horrible ones that didn't want to connect before. Looks like the pointy bit's usually the positive. Yeah, you can't. My clip leads are too big to really go inside. Oh, I got it in there, I think. Probably bent the pin a little bit, but bright green, one of those sort of translucent green LEDs. Yeah, lit up yellow on the channel thing. Oh, I forgot to hook the antenna up. dings the metal almost when that squelch kicks in. Makes a lot more noise with the RF gain turned up. So we're going to PA mode. Can we get the on the air to light? Oh, briefly. Yeah, shame that doesn't light up in that mode. But yeah, it's a bit of a classic. Not really sure. I have to look what that is. Whether it's marine or normal, probably AM, I would assume, being an old classic like that. How does this? This must be, yeah, you take the two screws out of the back and the whole side slides off it. Or side, top, bottom. It's one of those old school ones, and there's usually just a couple of chassis rails in the back panel there. That's, I remember a few like that. And the final one in that box is another Realistic, a TRC 413. This is a little bit corroded as well. So the other one was a 410, this is a 413, so probably similar sort of era. They look rather 80s to me, but 80s, 90s can be hard to tell with these things. They didn't change that much over the years. Another RS microphone. Cuts out there, it doesn't come back under there. Looks like a 40 channel job. It's going a bit white. The actual, I think this plastic bit is peeling off, or it's come off. Look, is that fingerprints I see? That's the sort of way super glue tends to go if people stick it on with that horrible stuff. Yeah, I think I might see a bit of fingerprint there, so I wonder if this front dropped off and someone went to super glue on it. Not the best looking front on the thing. Oh yeah, there's the smear of white under the, or over the LED display. That's definitely super glue. Used to hate super glue for that. I haven't used it since the 1980s, probably the early 80s, because it used to leave white stuff everywhere and ruin whatever you're trying to glue. I don't know if they've improved it since then. So that's just another one like that. But I don't even have a PL259 connector anywhere, I don't think. Not even one for the out of the old video dubbing kits. So I probably need to get a couple of things so I can actually hook up to these. It'd be nice if I could test the power output. And I guess if you've got more than one of them, you can probably get them to talk to each other just locally. Just on, even with the dummy loads on them, might be enough RF leakage to see if the receiver's working in another one, because I don't have any sort of radio license. I think you still need a license for CB radio even. So we'll have a look at, I think the rest of them are just portable ones, including some fairly old ones, so we'll have a look at those next. Okay, now for some handheld ones. What do we got here? Looks old and a bit corroded. Can't see anything else. Busted antenna. Got the old school telescopic. Oh yeah, this one of these beauties. God, that's at least 1.5 meters long. Yeah, so one of these super long ones. Let's say it's around 1.5, 1.6 meters, maybe even more. How many different bits? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7 pieces to that. Now how do I get, oh, we've got a zipper. Oh, here we go. That's a Hitachi. It's actually a thing that looked like a bit like an old national radio, but Hitachi transceiver CH1330R. 2-channel, 13 transistor, final input 1 watt. 8 penlight cells, 12 volts, I guess that's double A's. Made in Japan. Oh, let's see if we can get this out of, here's this frequency, 27.240 megahertz, so in the CB band I would think. Oh, I can't get this leather case off. Oh, it's catching on the knobs, isn't it? That might be a good idea to lift it over the knobs as you do it. Yeah, this is pretty old. Wow, what a crazy looking thing. Push to talk. Wow, it's metal cased, I think. This must be pretty early, this one. I think you might even have to take the back off to get to the batteries. Hopefully they haven't leaked everywhere and ruined the thing at some stage in its life. Well, the foam's had its day, but that's just the foam, I think. Oh yeah, the foam's completely gone here. A bit of rust on those bits. Wow, I have to look this one up and see when this was made, but this is, I guess, 1970s by the look of the parts in it. Got a 2SC176, I think. Some germanium transistors maybe, so that's got a heatsink on it if that's so. You can plug a couple of crystals in. That's probably our 27, whatever, 2724 something, 240. Looks like maybe, oh, maybe that's the second channel. Someone probably, oh, there's another crystal, yeah, 2 crystal sockets. So you could probably, I wonder if that's the, is that the channel select, A or B? So someone probably didn't, because they were pretty expensive and they probably didn't need it. They didn't bother buying a second set of crystals. Yeah, there's at least one little silicon transistor. I reckon there's another silicon, one sort of power transistor. I don't know if that's the output of the transmitter or something. Yeah, and the good old battery holder with a 9-volt battery snap, which was a great design, because if it's got corroded or damaged, sometimes they would break. If someone forced a battery in or something, it'd snap this plastic, so you could just go and buy a new one from Dick Smith or somewhere, and the user could replace it themselves. It's not soldered in, because there's quite a bit of antenna inside this thing. That was a monster antenna. So that's pretty cool, old school stuff. I guess we can, how many batteries did it say? 8, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, 8. So that's 8, and plus another half of 8 is 4, so it'd be 12 volts, I guess. So we can probably hook that. Only problem is I forget which one of these. That's the positive there. That's right, the open one. Oh, actually I could just hook. Can I just hook to that one and that one? I think that's how they're hooked up. Yeah, that sort of opened up bit is your positive terminal, because on top of a 9-volt battery, the negative was the opened up bit, which is the one that goes into that one. 12 volts. That's just me making that noise, I think. Ooh. Or something was there, maybe. Doesn't seem to do much. Oh, wait up. Ooh, on we've got a battery indicator, a standby. Whoa. That didn't sound too happy. Doesn't matter what the volume's set to either, I don't think. Well, that's a bit different. We've got a pretty good oscillator here, I think. That's about all that's doing. Ugh, bits of foam coming out. Oh, I've got an earphone with a little bit of a rubber weatherproof type protector on it. Oh, I've got an external DC socket. That's nice. So you could use it as a kind of base radio, I guess, if you didn't need to be portable. Or maybe hook it into the car or something to save on batteries. But all it does is oscillate loudly. That could be an interesting one to look at one day and see if I can work out why it does that. Hopefully there'll be a bit of info online on these things. At least it has an antenna, so I can press the transmit button. We're on standby. Well, that's definitely old school, so that's a pretty cool unit. I thought a couple of these looked interesting enough to grab, just because they're old as hell, and I think that was like $10, so who am I to say no to something that has a little edge meter and stuff on it. All I could see was this front bit, but yeah, Hitachi. Again, not a brand well known for two-way radios, I don't think. Certainly not in this part of the world. Yeah, it's got the shoulder strap, I guess. You got like a hand strap, maybe. I guess you can hold it like that. That's kind of cool. And I guess you press there. That's actually quite comfortable to hold like that. For such a boxy, big, heavy unit, it's quite heavy. Being all metal cased doesn't help. Can barely get that back on. There we go. Yeah, that's the push to talk, so you can hold it. Yeah, it's surprisingly good. Imagine having that whole antenna, the antenna is a bit unwieldy if that was sticking out fully. And I guess that's so you can have it on your belt or something and be walking around, bumping into things, and it protects the radio, keeps the weather off it as well. Probably quite an expensive unit in its time. And then we've got a couple of, what are these? Pinnacle NC310 ABC, so that's a 3-channel, I guess. Channel A equals 27165, 13 transistors. Supplied and serviced by Lafayette Electronics. I think they used to do test equipment or something. This one's actually got a separate battery compartment by the look of it. Oh yeah. What has someone done here? They've mated 2 battery snaps together because that one had wires on it. So here we go, got the frequencies listed. That's die cast, I think. So quite a solid one again. Volume on off, squelch. Oh, what's the F with like a musical note looking thing there? Again, probably a very long antenna on this. Not as bad as that other one. And the end's broken, of course. These antennas didn't take much to snap them. That was the big problem with them. Does that go down inside it? I think that's permanently, someone's damaged something here. Oh well, let's have a look what else is inside this. This looks maybe a little newer, but 70 still, I would guess. Oh, nice little quality looking push button switch there. Dainichi. Speaker. Did this say where it was made? Oh yeah, made in Japan. This is all silicon, I think. There's 2 crystals. Oh yeah, we've got 3, so I don't think they're all in there necessarily. We have 27620. And looks like someone may have pinched the other ones. If they were in there, which I assume they are if someone's written stuff on there. Yeah, this could almost be getting into the 80s. Looking at the transistors, this all looks like it's silicon. Some of the bigger TO92 type cases. One with a heatsink there. But yeah, solid. Die cast with a metal back, crystal channel arrangement. Yeah, so receive A and transmit A, B and C. So we're on A. I guess again we can hook this up. I assume this is the same, yeah, 8 batteries. So the positive should be the same as the last one, I guess. I'd better check that. Can I see what goes where, or can I just hook to this thing? Let's see, the red wire is there. I might even just leave that plugged in. Save it messing around and trying to work it out. And that must be the negative. Oh, where was it? There's a switch. Oh, it's doing something. Squelch. Pulls a bit of current when you do that. I hope the other one, there's 2 of these, I hope the other one's got the organ external antenna socket. I hope the other one's got the same frequency in it, because that's the second one. Channel A 27165, is that what the other one said? You'd assume they'd be the same. Because then we might be able to talk between them at least. Even though I probably shouldn't really be transmitting, but Is that a meter? That's a meter of some sort. Yeah, it's a little panel meter. Look at that. That's, hey, there it goes, like a little compass. So it goes between red for low battery, I guess, and green for high. It's probably literally like a little compass, except that it's a current flowing through it that spins the needle around. What a classic little thing. Negative. There we go. Testing 1, 2. Turn the squelch off. Testing, 1, 2. Testing. Seems to work. What's the other button do? What do you do? Testing 1, 2. Testing, 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 testing. Testing 1, 2. Well, I've got a pair of working walkie-talkies there by the look of it. So yeah, quite a heavy one again. I got a little wrist strap, I guess, so you don't lose it or whatever. It doesn't really work. I think this is made for right-handed people only. That's probably how you're meant to do it, something like that. And you can squeeze to torque. Another external 12 volt. What's that? Looks like a battery symbol. And headphone or external speaker, antenna. I'm not sure what that symbol's meant to mean. But yeah, this is kind of looking maybe early to mid 80s. Still quite solid and heavy, but I guess they're mainly made like that because they're more professional and got to be drop proof. Quite a big, bulky, horrible thing to hold. Not particularly ergonomic. And yeah, probably, I think they're actually slightly heavier than the Hitachi by the feel of that. Probably all that die cast in them. And we've got another pair here. What on earth is this? I don't think I even really looked at these other than they had a little meter, so I thought, well, that's old. Charge, power, mic, speaker / PA speaker, antenna. So I didn't know they used RCA connectors for antennas, but there you go. God knows what this thing is. I didn't even look. I thought, well, for $10 I'm going to buy it. It's looking kind of cool there. Slope front. And that weird channel selection thing. And we've got a knob here. Oh, that's our PTT button. Push to talk. So you've got to press that in to get the case off. What on earth is it? Tele radio, made in Japan. Oh, check that out. That's an AWA. Didn't know I got any more AWAs. That's kind of a cool looking one. I haven't seen one of these before. PA, A channel, B channel, C channel, pretty much the same as the others. Huh, that's a pretty cool, funky sort of 70s looking design. Rather Japanese by the look at it. Does it just pop off? Yeah, just pop it open. There's our frequencies. Front side, back side. This set needs 8 penlight batteries. Make it sure to put 4 other batteries in the back of the battery case in addition to 4 batteries on the front side. You got UM3 Japan, VSA34 RCA, Z Burgess, 915 Ever Ready. So a bit of Japanese English there, which is good to see. I haven't seen that for a while. This is another one, looks like someone's repaired it at some stage with a new battery holder. So maybe this was someone that was collecting them. We've got, I think, we've got all 3 channels populated, I think. Oh, let's have a look inside it. One good thing about the leather cases, it leaves the radio in pretty mint condition, otherwise it would have been scratched about and stuff just from being set down on surfaces. Oh, it's got an intact antenna, wow. big push to talk button. Wow, a little 57mm or maybe smaller speaker made in Japan. Pretty rare. I don't really remember seeing Japanese ones, but they must have been in some of the little early radios. So this is, don't know, maybe mid to late 70s. It looks rather 70s at design. Can't believe something that probably would look quite horrible. They're starting to look kind of cool now because they're so old. What have we got? A Chemicon capacitor, I think. Yeah, the old switch pod up the top there, which was common in radios. Tiny little meter. Quite a nice looking circuit board in it. And yeah, 3 sets of crystals, which you could use to go to Tandy or Dick Smith. You could buy those, but I think they are fairly expensive to get a pair of crystals for these sort of things. Oh well, we've got 2 of these too, I think, so we can maybe hook them both up, see if I can get it going. See if they'll talk to each other. And which one was the switch? Oh, I turned the power supply off, didn't I? I got a weird noise. Not sure the squelch is exactly squelching. Well, it's doing something. Picking up the electric fence by the sound of it. And that's its mate. And you can't even get to anything without taking the case off, so to change batteries, hook anything up, unless you're going for the sockets. Yeah, the sockets are open. That doesn't sound so good. We're catching on that button still. This one's a bit corroded, not a good sign. Hopefully whatever's loose is in there. Oh, screw and a couple of broken screw mounts. Well, look at it, so that's why that screw's loose. Probably been dropped or something. Let's clip lead across to this one as well. Oh yes, positive. Oh, scratchy volume there. Yeah, the squelch doesn't fully quieten it. A channel. It's opening that. Testing 1 2. No. Yes. Testing, testing. Testing 1 2. Testing, testing, testing. What a weird looking pair of radios. They are definitely good display pieces, if nothing else, just for their weirdness. Looks like one of those Sony or National or something portable little black and white television type era strangeness. Those trekkers and whatever they were, little things they made, it kind of has that kind of vibe to it. And here's another pair, a Pony transceiver. 27 megacycle, so that's pretty old, and BC. Nice little leather cases, Japan. God, check the old school switch. These almost look like they're 60s, but I can't imagine they're that old. But when they got megacycles and stuff on them, it's a bit older, I think. Looks like a bit of a fashion accessory almost. Oh, we've got a little purse to go with it. Oh, what do we got? We've got that plus a antenna cable or something in there. That'll go in the small socket. We'll see what that is, but that must just be an external wire antenna. Old school as. But yeah, it's kind of like a little, more like a little portable transistor radio you take to the beach with a sort of I'm not sure, it's kind of a fake tan, I think it's meant to be. It's almost a pinkish sort of colour, slightly pink. Quite a warm colour, and yeah, nice little white controls. It looks like it's a two-tone case colour. Oh well, I've got the good antenna on this one. That just goes and goes and goes. Yeah, it's about a metre or so, maybe just over a metre of that. And very old school kind of transistor radio type dial. Transistor 9. So maybe they were meant to look like a transistor radio, so they didn't look like a walkie-talkie or something, who knows. If you wanted to go a bit incognito, how do we get that? Do we push that in? That's not the easiest thing to get out. I don't know if I should put a screwdriver in there, it doesn't seem right, but oh well, we're just about getting there. Not quite. Or do we? Oh, we don't have to unscrew that thing, do we? I'm going to push a screwdriver onto it and see if I can get it to... Here we go, just a very tight fit. Wow, that is old school looking. Well, it says it's a transceiver, so definitely a two-way of some sort. CBR 803. Kanda Tsushin Kogyo Co. Limited. Tokyo, Japan. That is a very Japanese looking little radio. Slightly bent in the grill there by the look of it. I assume we've got a battery compartment of some sort here. Oh yeah, so it's just 8 batteries in through the bottom. Not so easy to hook up to, I guess. At least it's in pretty good nick. A little bit of corrosion. Looks like someone's actually filed them. A couple of those, but yeah, they've lost their little tip bit by the look of it. Probably been filed a bit due to leaky batteries. Let's see what's actually in it. Looks like it's just a one channel. These are like almost like a kid's walkie-talkie. They look a bit better than the kids' walkie-talkie though. They were pretty cheaper in those days. Yeah, it looks like germanium transistors. And there we are, 27.240 and 26.785. We've got an AM radio, it's pretty much like an AM radio. We've got an antenna rod. We've got a normal tuning cap. Probably transformer output. Wow, it does look kind of like, oh, we've got a circuit. It does look a bit like a normal AM radio. We've got a 2SA80, 83, 2SA12, 2SB 75, 77, 77, that's your audio outs by the look of it. Push-pull A240, 246 is it? 240 or 246 and 2SA80. I know that's the transmitter, because that's a weird, it does look like a transmitter output possibly. What are they doing? Because the speaker probably acts as a microphone. I think you push the talk switch. 1N34A, that's your IF. So we've got our IF and detector diode there. And I think the transmitter is this little bit down the bottom. Well, is that a crystal there? Yeah, crystal 4 or something. Doesn't have that many in it. Oh, that one looks like the same. So there's one crystal up here. Another crystal there, but that transistor's feeding back into the antenna by the look of it. That's where probably I push to talk switch and some other switches here. Now, I don't know that I can easily hook this thing up. Oh, I guess, did it have an external, was one of those an external power socket? They don't actually list. I know one was headphone, one was antenna, I think. Antenna doesn't actually hook to that socket. Let's see if I can find out what it's like. One is definitely in line with the speaker by the look of it. Where's the other socket at? Doesn't seem to be connected to the antenna. Oh, there's the other socket. Oh, one of them is related to the batteries by the look of it. A two 2.5mm I think they were, which is that other little, that's a 3.5, isn't it? Yeah. Why do they give you this single wire thing? Or maybe it's not single wire. Yeah, it was, I think. Yeah, it's got a single wire on it, like it's an antenna. It doesn't make much sense. Now, should I risk hooking this up? Well, we should be able to multimeter it to the battery connector, I guess. That's negative. That should go to, I guess, one of the end negative springs. That also hooks onto the speaker, so I'm guessing that is negative for sure. Nothing. God, you know, this does have some bad corrosion, I think, on a couple of pins. Oh, yeah, oh wait, I can see the negative there. So is that the positive wire coming out of this thing? Let's just lift out. I don't know, screwed in. That's the negative. The negative is that one there. Doesn't seem to be connected. Oh wait, is it switched though? It would be switched. Hang on, they show the socket is switched. Where's the friggin' switch? So that's not a switched power socket. Might be easier just to, because they're showing the battery switched via a socket, but this socket isn't switched by the look of it. They're brass or something screws. Not magnetic, whatever they are. Can we just lift this out? Of course not. It's not going to be that easy, is it? Oh, here it comes. Looks like it's coming slowly. I don't think I've got to undo that other screw. That would just... Oh, is there another screw? Ah. Yeah, they've hidden a screw under the antenna. Coil. And there it is on that bracket. Nice. Having this antenna attached is getting annoying. So that was a longer screw up there. I don't like having this antenna floating around like that. Finally we're starting to see something. So that's your... So your negative is there and your positive just goes straight to the board, does it? Or does it wire off somewhere else? No. No idea what that bloody socket does. Oh well, we've got to see a bit more of it than expected. Got foam around the speaker, but that's... The positive is... What the hell? Oh, that must be the first one in, the one that's corroded. Oh, that's actually marked... But anyway, it's the second one in, or it's the first. I guess the closest to the front. Let's maybe look from the front. It's the upper second in, or first positive in on the upper row, and the negative is this lower spring. So it's the second negative one across on the lower row. So in theory, but I can't really hook to the other one. What a pain. Now, how many volts is it? It's same voltage because it's 8 batteries. We've got quite a bit of corrosion on the switch pot there, which is not looking too good. And on the board near it, definitely had a leak. It's actually got a dial cord in here. Oh, better be careful with this damn antenna coil. It must have gone that way. Put that back in place so we don't break anything off. Someone's done a dodgy there too. What's this? Wire's been extended. It's just floating around uninsulated in there. That's pretty shonky. Is that something they did in the factory? It looks like they have. Maybe there was a coating on there of some sort of tubing, or someone forgot to put it on in the factory. That looks like a factory thing because that goes to the headphone socket. I might just put a bit of insulation tape on that. Okay, I think I'll get this antenna. Looks like it's got a screw on the bottom. Get that disconnected so I can get rid of this back cover out of the way. Then there's no risk of breaking that wire. So easy to find where that one went. So the positive comes in on this track. Looks like this is probably the ground, this big track going around, and that's what's going through this switch and comes out here to the black wire that goes to the battery. So I guess we better check the actual switch is any good because it's pretty corroded. Are we on? Yep. Ah, well that's no good. That is open circuit. Even when it's connecting, if we open that up, you can probably, there's a little mechanism on the end there. Might be able to scrape the corrosion off there, I don't know. Maybe a little bit of sandpaper or something in there. Not sure that's going to work, but quite a bit of dust went flying then. Used to be able to buy these at Dick Smith, but probably hard to get these days. Oh well, we've got contact again, so that's a good sign. At least that'll probably wants a proper clean at some stage. So let's hook this thing up. Ooh, we've got quite a bit of power draw there, so something's not happy. Like a couple of amps or something. Wonder if we got reforming capacitors or something. There's a big one there. That's the biggest one in the whole thing. That's on ground, and yeah, across the positive. Oh yeah, less current now. Don't really hear anything happening now. It's down quite a bit. Have we got any sound or anything? That's tuning, I think. Slight pop from the speaker. Oh yeah, that's getting warm. So we've got a dodgy capacitor here. I don't want to heat that up too much in case it pops. And we don't seem to have anything in the way of sound. But yeah, the fact this has got a dial in it, I think this must be an AM radio. That must be, what did it say, BC or something? It must be broadcast cycles or something it stands for. So I think we've got an AM radio combined with a CB radio. I guess I can use the same front end for both, because I think we just got the one IF section and everything. Crystal controlled oscillator. Maybe they changed the oscillator or something. That's probably possible to do. But I think we'll have to put this to one side and worry about it some other time. Nice little retro unit anyway, a bit of a vintage one. Some sort of Asian language stamp on there. Probably tells you who made it. The speaker's got a fair bit of corrosion. I wonder if that speaker's alright. That's another thing. I better check that because that's quite corroded. Sounded like it was clicking a little bit, but it could be high resistance or open or anything. Yeah, 2.7 ohms. It's low if anything. Seems to move. but that cap probably wants removing or replacing. And yeah, we've got a lot of germanium transistors and stuff, so I think we'll give that one a miss for now. I only wanted to have a quick look. I wasn't really intending to pull things apart, so I'll put those ones to one side, and maybe I'll do a video on that sometime. That'd be quite good to play around with, see if we can get them up and running again. Okay, next one is a Midland walkie-talkie type 1, telescoping antenna, speaker and mic, push to talk on the side, battery meter, charger jack, AC adapter jack, earphone jack. I think charger and AC adapter would be the same thing. Call signal switch, Welch control, channel selector on, off and volume. Model 13-710. Hundreds of everyday uses: instant two-way comms, construction, surveying, stockyards, warehouses, civil defence, policemen, firemen, guards, farming, ranching, forestry, logging, exploration, rail yards, office, inventory, contractors and industrial. Copyright 1972, so that might be an indication of its age. North Kansas City, Missouri. Made exclusively for Midland Comms in Japan, so it's another Japanese one, rebadged. Skillfully engineered and thoroughly tested to maintain rigid performance standards. Powerful 1-watt transceiver. Call signal, 3 channels. Don't know what call signal is. I wonder if that's like a tone generator or something that opens a squelch on just another one of these or something, like a cell call type thing, selective call. 10 times the power of most handheld units, well, most walkie-talkies for kids at least. Ideal with long range, portability and dependability are a must. Highly sensitive super heterodyne receiver with tuned RF stage. Call signal permits selective extra distant communication, so it looks like it's some sort of cell call. Rugged all metal cabinet. Telescoping antenna carrying case, operates on 8 penlight cells again. Accessory for battery charger, AC adapter and earphone. Accessory for should be sockets or connections for, I don't know. Complete one set of channel 11 plug-in crystals. 2 channels left open for any of the 23 CB channels. Yeah, shame I don't have 2 of these because I'd be able to test that selective call thing. That's a bit of an old polystyrene. Oh, there's a nice little leather case on it. No, I've even got a book with this one, that's nice. Call signal transceiver, this will hopefully tell us. Squelch control. Introduction. Combination receiver transmitter. Designed and engineered for licensed Class D operation. On the CB bands, designated by the Federal Communications Commission. Got to read the FCC regulations. Didn't really apply here. Midland certifies. Open the back cover, extend the telescopic antenna to full length for maximum distance. Highly efficient variable squelch control located on the cabinet side, which reduces background and other undesirable noises and keeps interference at a minimum between calls. Caution should be taken to the squelch control so as not to reduce incoming signal. Transceiver is equipped for 3-channel operation. 1 channel, looks like they've stamped over the top of what was originally printed there, 27.24 megacycles. I think I saw somewhere that might be like an emergency or just a general like bushwalking frequency or something in Australia. Crystals is installed in the unit. Additional crystals may be installed for 2nd and 3rd channels. Precision meter on the front of the unit by which you can check battery condition. Set that little tiny thing there. One of those little compass meter things again. Not that precision, I wouldn't think. How to receive an automatic call. Call signal operation. Turn on-off switch to on. Set calling switch to off. Receive the calling tone from another unit. When another unit sends a calling tone on the same channel, you will hear that tone through the speaker on your unit. So it actually puts out a tone just to rather than having to say something maybe. Then to communicate with other unit, push the push-to-talk switch and speak into the microphone. How to send an automatic call. Turn on-off switch to on. Set calling switch to on. Press the push-to-talk switch. Unit will then transmit the calling tone. If another unit operating the same channel has been properly set up as outlined above, it will receive the tone. After you've transmitted the tone call signal, slide the calling switch to off. Listen for the voice transmission from the unit you're calling. You've got to turn it off to talk to the other unit. Be sure to turn the on-off switch to off and collapse the rod antenna to its original position. Fine piece of high-frequency electronic equipment using tuned RF for greater sensitivity. Incorporated in the unit is a push-pull audio output stage for better tone and voice response. Operation range can be up to 10 miles depending on terrain, obstacles, climatic conditions and the type of equipment used with this unit. By using it as a base station or mobile unit, this range can be greatly increased. 11 transistors, 1 diode, 1 thermistor. They don't normally mention those. 2 transistors used in squelch circuitry. Yeah, channel 11, which has been changed from 27.085 to 27.240, possibly just for Australia. Frequency stability 0.005%. Crystal controlled, 1 watt final output. Receivers crystal controlled super het. 13 section telescopic antenna. 2¼ inch voice coil, impedance 8 ohm speaker. Microphone dynamic. Well, isn't that just a speaker they use for that? Maybe it has a separate one. 8 penlight cells, 24 ounces weight. Use only the crystals recommended for the circuitry. Oh yeah, probably just within the frequency range it can handle, and the frequencies are close to each other, such as channel 1 and 2, no adjustment for frequency is necessary. Never transmit without the antenna fully extended, so 1 or more transistors may be severely damaged. Whoops, I haven't been doing that with some of them. I did notice a couple of them have a little sticker on there saying to fully extend it, which makes sense, so it can emit all its energy. If you damage them, it's not covered by warranty. Make sure the battery voltage is 12 volts. Simple field strength meter. Press the talk to switch to transmit. Adjust the antenna load coil and tank coils. This is actual proper adjustments inside the unit. For maximum field strength, maximum indication of field strength meter or RF output meter. Input power can be controlled by adjusting the oscillator coil of the transmitter. Too much input power in relation to modulation capability can result in low modulation percentage, therefore decrease the drive to obtain 85% modulation. And then we can adjust the intermediate frequency at 455 kilocycles, which I think is the same as AM radio, which makes sense that they'd use standard IF frequency. Peak the transformers for maximum. Adjust the receiver antenna and oscillator coil for maximum reception or indication by instruments, using another transceiver or transmitter as a signal source. Should repeat it several times to ascertain peak reception. It's best to choose channel numbers close to one another, as adjustments are not adequate for wide channel separation, such as from channel 2 to 22. Oh, we've got a circuit. Optional accessories. Crystals, external power adapter, all leather pack, holds 8 flashlight batteries for heavy duty field use. So that might be like a D cell, because these are pen light batteries I think, so I guess flashlight batteries would be C's or D's, so you can get a higher capacity battery pack. That's a good idea. Maximum battery economy with heavy usage, battery pack recharges up to 100 times. So there's a nickel cadmium battery pack and a circuit. Wow, that looks quite a bit like the circuit of that other little pony one. Let's have a look here. Can't really see the pony one because it's so small, but got the antenna in the same place, into that peaking coil or whatever it is. 1, 2, 3 transistor stages. That's got 4 in this one. There's your detector diode. I can't see the detector in the other one. That's got a crystal oscillator there, which is, yeah, that one. 2 more transistors. That's a bit more. It's got a push-pull output. This has got a few more transistors than the other one by the look of it. So the Pony, they've added another preamp transistor by the look of it, another IF stage. They did say something, so maybe we've got an extra RF stage like they say. 2 transistors there, that's the transmitter. Almost identical circuit though by the look of it. Certainly very similar, which makes sense. Once they worked out how to do these things, they would have just made them all pretty much the same, I would think, like most AM radios and stuff. And is that everything? I think we've read it all now. Notice their warranty policy. Oh, you only get 90 days warranty. That's pretty short. But I guess for something that, yeah, because warranty does not cover carrying cases, earphones, batteries, antennas, broken or cracked cabinets, or any other accessory used in connection. Because these things do get a bit of a rough life, so that's probably why they didn't want to give a 12-month warranty. Sales receipt must accompany product to validate date of purchase. Midlands, 1909, Vernon Street, North Kansas City, Missouri. And printed in Japan by the look of it. Anyway, enough of that. Let's see what it does. 1 watt, 3 channel. Quite a nice carrier case. We've got a bit of rust on it though. And a little bit more there. A charger, AC adapter. That must be the earphone. Switch the channels and that cool control. Looks like another metal cased one. Yeah, a bit of corrosion. I think that's die cast front. Yeah, I think that is. That's quite a heavy one. I think that's genuine metal. All metal case. They certainly made them pretty rugged back then. Problem is the extra weight probably made them hit the ground harder too. Which sort of batteries? So there's a Midland 20-815 for their own penlight cells, I guess they must have had. Yeah, you've got a nice Matsushita 2SC457, I think. No, it's a 2SC456. In a nice black case. That's probably a transmitter output, I guess. That's our audio output by the look of it. 2 heatsink transistors. You've got your coupling transformer there, so that'd be a little push-pull output stage. And just the usual, looks like someone's replaced all these at least, and there's a little bit of rust on that. But I suspect someone may have replaced a few of these with new ones. Probably hasn't been stored the best, and looks like got the same connections as the last ones. That terminal and the one next to it. Something's happening. There we go. Picking up the electric fence again. Their so-called precision meter, it's tiny. It's a realistic 40-channel road emergency two-way radio for emergency help, highway conditions, local information, directions, TRC 409. Looks kind of maybe early 90s. Easy to set up your emergency radio and call for assistance. Just follow the easy steps. Mount the antenna on the roof, plug in the cord, select channel 9 and call for assistance. Cat 21-1500. Same thing there. Custom manufactured in Thailand for Entertain Australia. Oh, well, let's see what this thing is. Looks like a great big radio, but it's actually just a case by the look of it. Made in Thailand. Oh, there we go. Now we've got a book again. Oh, looks like we might have... Yeah, we've got an antenna and everything with it. And that's just the cable for that. Yeah. A magnetic... I assume it's a magnetic base. Yep, definitely magnetic. And that screws in there. And you got your telescoping antenna. Bit of a hard one to do. It's probably been sitting here around for years. Doesn't look like this thing's really been used. And I've got a cigarette lighter plug. It's got a fuse in it too, probably while I unscrew this black cap to replace the fuse. And yeah, it looks pretty 90s. Quite a plasticky one. We've got our antenna connection with an RCA, power 12 volt DC, torque button. Looks more like a kind of kids one in a way, but I guess this is probably made to put in your car and just sit in the glove box or something, or in the boot, I guess, in a nice carry case like this. Is kind of designed for stashing somewhere. Keep it safe. Should be positive tip on these things normally. And you've got channel 9. Probably its default channel. Yeah, 40 channels. And we don't have an antenna on it, so it's probably going to be a bit quiet. Where's my antenna? That is squelch, I think. Yeah, that seems to work. Now, what do we got here? Owner's manual. Please read before using it. Your realistic 40 channel gives you security and peace of mind anytime you're on the road. Specifically designed so you can take with you in any vehicle. Simple to set up and use. It's just, yeah, not a permanently installed one. You just can install it and use it if you need it. In a matter of seconds, you're ready to report accidents or ask for information about traffic conditions, road conditions, or anything else you need to know about. Well, back in the old days when everyone had one, bit hard to get local information these days, because if you don't know someone's phone number who happens to be in the area, then you don't have as much. Although there's a lot of truckies around, they probably still use them. Please read the manual. DC power adapter. Quickly change to standard. 2 ceramic filters. Ensure superior selectivity and freedom from adjacent channel interference. Range, so it is a squelch control. Automatic noise limiting. Automatic modulation control. Sturdy carrying case. CBRS license Australia. Before transmitting, you must obtain a Department of Communications citizen radio license. Obtain a form from the Department of Communications. The supplied magnetic mount antenna is designed for use on a vehicle that is stopped. If you want to use the TRC in a moving vehicle, use any one of Tandy's mobile CB antennas. You could get strong magnetic ones that could sort of be permanently left in place. Do not use it with no antenna attached. Using channel 9 is reserved for reporting emergency information about accidents, hazardous roads conditions, and so on. Do not use the channel 9 for non-emergency messages. Oh, looks like we've got a receipt. Glenorchy hardware, I don't know if that's related. Tandy Electronics, Mr. Viney, oh, I assume it's, yeah, it is a Mr. because they've put it in there. Unit whatever, Driscoll Street, Rosetta. So in the northern suburbs of Hobart, $70 tendered, and it was $69.95. Do we have a store sales slip number? He bought it in 8th of the 5th, 1992. Sales, oh, we just got a store number, so that doesn't mean much. Is that 7140 or something? Oh, 7140, I wonder if that's just the postcode. There was a Glenorchy store, I think. Not sure what the postcode is out there, but I wonder if it's, yeah, I think they've changed them since then anyway. Yeah, I remember these receipts were pretty standard for Tandy for a long time. Had basically the same thing back in the 80s. All hand filled out with each thing you purchased. But yeah, Glenorchy, looks like the same time they bought something from Glenorchy Hardware, maybe related. $3.75, $5. So $3.75 was the price, or $3.76. So you rounded it off because you probably couldn't get 1 cent coins anymore to $3.75. He must have tendered $5 and got $1.25 change. So I don't know what that is. I don't think we've got anything from the hardware store here. Noise reduction, CB courtesy. Wait for a pause in other people's transmissions before you ask for a break. If you don't receive an answer to your call after a second attempt, sign off and wait several minutes before trying again. Do not hold down the talk button when you're not talking. This is called dead keying. Assist callers with directions, information about road conditions, and any other reasonable requests. Common uses, business uses. Truck drivers and delivery men learn road and traffic conditions and obtain assistance in locating destinations. CB is also good company on those long hauls in construction crews. Pay for itself when you're calling for additional materials or coordinating the activities of various work crews. Personal uses, keep in touch with home while driving work or to the store or to a social activity. Let your family know you're tied up in traffic or that you'll stop by the market on the way home. If you're in a 2-car or more family, they're a great way to communicate with members of your family while they are in their cars. Contact friends or neighbours, find out what's happening or plan a get together. You can even meet new friends this way. If you have trouble or run out of gas on the highway, what assurance it is to be able to radio for assistance. Camping, hunting, fishing or other sports are more fun with the CB. Locate a buddy or find out what's cooking back at camp. Other 10 codes. I think they originated in America, this using number codes. Well, I think it was originally so the police didn't know what was going on, wasn't it? For truckers and stuff. These codes permit faster communication and better intelligibility in noisy areas, so technically they can be used for more than just not letting people know what you're talking about. Receiving poorly, well, stop transmitting, okay, out of service. Now the old 10-4 is okay. Advise road weather conditions, what is your location, emergency traffic, correct time, switch to channel. It's a 1041 and then I guess the channel number, cannot understand. There's all the channel frequencies. We don't have a 27.240 here, which I think I did see something about. That was also outside the normal Australian channel allocations. But I think the Department of Communications said it was alright or something, at least early on, for people to use it for bushwalking or something like that. Keep the transceiver dry. If it does get wet, wipe immediately. Water contains minerals that can corrode electronic circuits. Although it was more the interaction of water and steel cause oxidization. Just the usual troubleshooting. Do not open it and play with it. Oh, there's the fuse in the cap of the cigarette lighter. Does 40 channels from 26.965 to 27.405 megahertz. First IF's actually at 10.695 megahertz in this one. Second IF at 455. Audio output 1 watt. Frequency response. Squelch. 4 watts power output, maximum 5 watts input, I guess is what it draws. Current drain 850 milliamps with no modulation or 1500 milliamps with full modulation. I don't think it drew that much, did it? Maybe it did. It's quite greedy on power if it's pulling that much. No, it's not saying it's... Oh, unless they mean that's probably with a transmitter running. It's pulling virtually nothing. Maybe 100 milliamps. But I guess, yeah, probably what they mean is, yeah, when you just hit the push the talk button, it's going to pull a certain amount, and when you actually talk into it, the modulation is going to make it draw even more. But yeah, I must say that's quite a clever way of packing up a CB radio for people that probably wouldn't normally buy one. Of course, this was pre-mobile phone days, though it wasn't much after, well, about 92. I was probably installing car phones back then, so they were starting to be a thing. But this might go back into the 80s or something, this one. I'll have to look in the catalogue, see if I can find what date it was. But yeah, quite a clever way to market one. I might get a scan of that. Don't see many Tandy receipts anymore. But yeah, nicely packaged. Good solid case. Kind of like how it looks a bit like a radio itself. Actually, when I first pulled it out, I thought it was a radio for a minute, but I thought, geez, it's a big one. But yeah, that's getting a bit newer than what I'd normally buy, but because it's a Tandy one, I don't mind collecting the old Tandy and Dick Smith stuff, since I was one of their customers once upon a time. And finally got to the last one. Maybe I should zoom the camera back a bit on this. It is a Uniden AX55 2A handheld. This is probably, I don't know, it looks a bit 80s on the box. I think it would be getting a bit later, but maybe not. Squelch, 6-channel, external speaker jack, low battery warning. You're always in touch with a Uniden. Fishing, hunting, boating, camping, recreation, backpacking, and many other applications. Crystal control, built-in speaker. Looks like some on this side. That side's been sun faded. This one we can still read more. Loading coil antenna, leather case, 5 watts of power, or 5 big watts of power. Crystal control, built-in speaker, press to talk. Wrist strap, high-low power switch, built-in mic, external antenna jack, charge jack. Oh, here we go. It's from Dick Smith Electronics. $150 or $149, but it's got the O2 phone number, but probably bought locally. And what does it say on the end? Custom manufactured in Taiwan. In Taiwan, Uniden Corporation of America. Personal Comms Division, Indianapolis. Quite a big box on this one. And looks to be in pretty good nick. What's rattling there? Is that just interesting antenna? Oh, it's like a double. What they got going on here? I've never seen a double telescopic before. So that bit comes out, but that bit's also on a normal telescopic antenna. Caution, your antenna fully, especially if it's a 5 watt, you definitely want to get that energy radiating out and away from your head for starters. 6 channels. These are the sort of ones you'd have on a belt clip or something, and you could just tweak them from above. Squelch and volume, push to talk, power high and low, so it does have a low, probably a 1 watt setting as well as a 5 watt setting. Oh, it's a marine transceiver. Oh, that's another boat one by the look of it, so that's interesting. Antenna, charge and power. Sandtronic Agencies Proprietary Limited, made in Taiwan. Yeah, it's an AX55. Does that come off, that cover? Oh, it does. Ugh, this one's pretty corroded. Is it the usual number of batteries? Oh, what do we got here? Little battery holder things that say they slide right up inside the radio by the look of it. Or are they adapters or something? What does it say here? Place this dummy bat spacer to NiCad bat when NiCad bats are used. Ah, so because they're a lower voltage, 1.2 volts. That's quite a clever design. So if you put NiCads in there, you basically, sorry, if you don't have NiCad batteries in there, you replace a couple of the 1.5s or a couple of the slots with these dummy batteries. But if you put NiCads in, you actually put an extra couple of batteries. So I guess, does it say anything about what it takes? And no instructions or anything, unfortunately. So maybe it takes like 8 AA's or 8 AA carbon batteries or alkalines, or maybe 10 of the 10 is 12 volts here, so 10 NiCads. Doesn't actually tell you on here what it takes, which is a bit annoying. We've got a power socket, but it doesn't say which polarity, which would be nice to plug in. I might actually look something up on that one, see if I can find out what's happened here. Someone's scratched something into the front, I think. Almost looks like it says shed something LD. No idea what that says, but it looks like someone's possibly tried to, probably just wrote on there with a ballpoint pen or something, and it's scratched into the surface. Yeah, yeah, a bit of a hand. So that's how that one's quite good. I mean, you can adjust it a bit tight for me at the moment. My hand's too big for it, but you can hold it like that. I guess if you're doing a lot of talking. But I might find out what the power connection is, see if I can find anything online on this one before I hook it up. But not a lot of use of its marine frequencies. But it's in quite good condition at least. But I think we'll just put that one back for now. So quite a good selection of radios there. Probably shouldn't have bought so many of them. I did leave some behind, but I picked out the ones that looked the most interesting, and it might be interesting to try and fix a couple of these older ones. I think they might have worked, but that old Hitachi one was just oscillating, I think. And I haven't even tried this second Pony one, but we'll get both of those out together, I think, and maybe put some new caps in and see what else they need. But yeah, something a bit different. I like how these actually got an AM radio in them. So that's kind of a bit of a different one. And I'll try and look up some of these online and see what they actually are. Hopefully some information on them. Should be, most of this sort of stuff's covered on CB radio sites and stuff, I think. But in another video sometime I'll actually get in and look at some of these individual radios and maybe just do a bulk test of them. I might have to get myself a dummy load and probably a power and SWR meter just to check the power output of each one. And then I can probably communicate. Some of these 40 channel ones would talk to some of these other ones anyway that I've only got one of. And yeah, maybe I can get a couple going on the same frequencies so we can just check that they actually receive and all that sort of thing. At least they're all tested then and known condition. And then I've really got to decide. I might put some on display and maybe get rid of some of the other ones, I think, because I don't know that I want this many of them. But kind of cool old things to look at. Something a bit different that I don't normally play around with, and maybe we can get a couple of repair videos out of fixing a couple of these little older ones, which could be interesting. I'm not a real expert on radio, but and so you really want some good test equipment ideally, like an IFR or something. A place I used to work had an IFR 1000, I think it was, the old one with the thumb wheel switches on it, and you got like a spectrum analyzer so you can see the output on like an oscilloscope screen. You can measure the power output, you can receive the signal from it, and you can also put out a signal back into the antenna socket on these things, check all the front ends working properly, align it or whatever. So that's the sort of ideal equipment you need for radios if you're going to do them on a regular basis. It's the only real way to test, because people just bring in a single radio, and you often need to have something that you can set to any frequency to check it. And that thing could, pick up car phones. It had quite a broad range of frequencies. You could pick up pretty much any transmitter on it, I think, right up into the car phone frequencies, which I think are up around the 900 megahertz or somewhere. And that was the older model. They made some newer models of those things. They're absolutely brilliant if you're doing radio stuff. But very expensive too, normally, and highly sought after, I would think, because they're such a handy bit of test equipment. But there are ways of making sort of cruder test equipment that you can use with oscilloscopes or whatever, but I have no intention of really getting into these things. But we'll see how we go, maybe getting a couple of these running. They're probably mostly just audio faults or simple faults that I can track down, and maybe a bit of recapping and stuff. But we'll leave that for another video, so thanks for watching.